So let's do that. I'll call the board meeting to order. This is the June 11th board meeting, and Mr. Allen, I'll start with you, and then I'll go to you, Mr. Kelly, and then we'll go around here, and maybe Jack will join us by that time.
Well, I don't have much to say other than I'm glad to be able to dial in and participate. Unfortunately, I missed last month's board meeting, so it's good to be back in the fold. And I want to thank Mr. Campbell for stepping in and doing a great job. But I understand it's very hot back there. We got about 3 inches of snow last night, so it's not hot here, but beautiful nonetheless. So stay cool, and that's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Allen. Mr. Kelly.
Thank you, Mr. Campbell. Enjoy the snow, Terry. First of all, thank you all, to you and the board and the staff, for the flowers you sent my wife. It was a very nice pick-me-up. She's still recovering from 5 fractured ribs, so long recovery, but she's doing well. And would have liked to have joined you all, but it's tough to get coverage. Someone has to be here with her to help her. So appreciate your patience and appreciate your thoughts of her recovery. And the second thing, I'd like to wish everyone happy Father's Day this month. That's my comment, Mr. Campbell. Thank you.
Mr. Kelly. Mr. Bonfils.
Yeah, my mic is on. Well, thank you. I'm really happy that be able to make it to this meeting. That my laptop is pinging me because I haven't opened it in weeks, and we'll just close that. But it's it'd be nice to be in Montana with snow, wouldn't it? But it's 95 here, and I'm really happy to have the heat. Happy that we've had the rain that we've had, and hopefully we'll be getting some more later tonight. So I'm looking forward to reviewing what we have on the board today about the audit and passing it and receiving an award for that audit. Knock on wood. So thank you.
Right, Mr. Bonfils. Mr. Sultan.
I'd like to issue a formal complaint against Mr. Allen for rubbing in the fact that he's in a cool area while we're suffering at 95-degree heat. Other than that, I have nothing else to say.
Happy with the heat.
All right. Well, I guess summer is in full swing here as everybody's traveling and on vacation and enjoying themselves, which is great. Hopefully we'll have a fuller meeting next month, which is July. And we're going to push the board elections to next month when we've got everybody here, instead of doing that with half the board present.
Sure it's not rigged.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. So we'll do that. But yeah, grateful to you all as always for running a great operation here and caring for the people of Loudoun County. Mr. General Manager.
Thank you. Good afternoon. Loudoun Water publishes annual consumer confidence water quality reports each year as a requirement under the Safe Drinking Water Act. The report provides information about where our water comes from, what's added, how it is treated, tests that are performed, information on fluoride, and quality evaluation. Customers receive notices with their bills by July 1st each year with a direct link to the current water quality report on our website. A big thank you to our compliance team and communication team for developing this year's report. As a result of the PI spill on the Potomac River, DC Water has conducted a detailed inspection of the PI and identified two pipe sections in Loudoun County in need of repair. 2 projects are estimated to take between 2 to 4 months, with work beginning this week on one project and the other project scheduled to begin shortly. There will be additional projects completed in the coming years. On May 18th of this year, Loudoun Water's procurement team hosted its 2nd annual contractor networking event. The event was highly successful, with more than 60 contractors, engineering firms, suppliers, and industry partners in attendance to learn more about Loudoun Water's upcoming projects and procurement opportunities. The purpose of the event was to increase awareness of upcoming work, strengthen industry relationships, and encourage greater participation in competition and future solicitations. Attendees had the opportunity to hear directly from our staff, learn more about the procurement process, and engage with the engineering and procurement teams regarding upcoming initiatives. The event reflects our continued commitment to transparency, supplier outreach, and fostering strong partnerships within the industry. a couple of community activities. Loudon Water is partnering with the Leading Ladies Initiative again this year from June 15th through the 26th. The program is designed to help underserved high school girls reach their potential through STEM education, work-based learning opportunities, and leadership development training. Students experience firsthand how STEM is applied in various careers and understand how high school course selection and college preparedness equips them for a STEM career. Thanks to all the Loudon Water staff who will be working with this year's cohort. Drinking Water and Wastewater Professionals Appreciation Day is June 30th, established by a Virginia House Joint Resolution in 2016. The day recognizes the water operators, engineers, and utility workers who ensure clean, safe drinking water and sustainable wastewater services. Thank you to all the Loudon Water staff who work each day to provide high-quality water services to protect public health and the environment. RCs through May totaled 1,500, with 1,042 of those coming from data centers. A few reminders for you: Loudon Water will be closed next Friday, June 19th, in observance of the Juneteenth holiday. Your Finance Committee is scheduled to meet on Wednesday, the 24th at 8 a.m., and the CIP Committee is scheduled to meet on Thursday, June 25th at 8 a.m. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. General Manager. Let's see. Oh, yes, sir. Yes, Mr. Bonfils.
Is there more information coming in?
Can add some more. Yes. So we have, I don't have the map in front of me, but DC Water has identified 4 emergency sections on the PI that are needed in repair immediately. They're hosting a public meeting tonight online to discuss one of them because it is upstream of the WSSC intake. And so they're hosting a public meeting to talk about that. They're doing bypass pumping operations at all of these locations. The first one in Loudon is on the airport property. And so they've already started work on that. The second one is near the toll road on Shellhorn, and they are going to be installing bypass pumping, about 1,500 feet of bypass pumping between different manhole sections, and they'll be slip lining that. Yes.
So, Loudon Water has tunnels in that area.
Yes.
It crosses that. There's no.
They reached
to
out.
our system.
No, they reached out to us about 2 weeks ago, and we've had very detailed conversations with them about their plans for the project, any support that we could provide. So we feel good about their plan, and we'll stay in contact with them going forward.
Thanks for the detail.
You're welcome.
I just have, what exactly is wrong with the pipe? Has it collapsed or?
It has not collapsed. It just showed extensive corrosion, and they want to move forward to get it repaired immediately.
That's concrete pipe?
Yes.
Mr. Kelly has a question.
Yeah, thank you, Joel. Brian, I read an article this morning. I apologize, I don't have it in front of me, but some entity in this area has proposed a study of redundant plans for if the Potomac becomes contaminated or gets shut down, or kind of what does the region do? I'm sure you're aware of that. I'm just curious what that's all about.
Yeah, so ICPRB is conducting a study to find a redundant source of supply or storage. As you saw, that came from ICPRB, WSSC, Fairfax. We are not an official party member of ICPRB, so that did not come from us, but we are certainly involved, are participating. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I saw that it wasn't, initiated by us, and was surprised if we would, because we've already had those plans, if we would even be asked to participate.
Mm-hmm.
And the other thought was, are they going to come after our resources potentially to see if we can glom on the reservoir or the quarry as a possible backup? But that's to be seen, I guess.
Yeah, so not the reservoirs that we currently have. They will be evaluating the additional luckstone quarries as part of a potential solution for the region.
I can add a little bit of additional context. It's really a conversation that's been happening amongst all the utilities, including us in the region, for probably almost a decade, at least 7 or 8 years. And we've talked a little bit about it at times, but the through the Washington Aqueduct, the Army Corps of Engineers has really taken the lead over the last number of years, and a lot of that had to do with sort of really looking to get maximize federal funding as much as possible. And over the last 6 months or so, there's been changes in terms of budgetary process and funding from the federal government, where the scope of these continued studies looking at additional storage, and in particular Trevilla Quarry in Maryland, that scope was sort of narrowed because of funding issues at the federal level. And so now, amongst all of the utilities as a region, the utilities are just saying, hey, we need to take the lead here and really continue to move this forward so we don't lose momentum that's been being built up. And so, again, as Brian mentioned, we're going to continue to be very involved, just as we always are, but it's just being led through the official operations committee of the co-op. And, we'll be in many of the meetings that are continued with that. And we contribute to that through our wholesale agreement with Fairfax Water, because that's who's the three utilities are funding that.
Thanks, Mark.
Any more questions for Mr. Carnes? Welcome, Mr. Vega.
Thank you.
You arrived just in time to have your board comments, if you would like to have any. Thank you for making our quorum. We needed you today.
Don't you feel needed?
Yes, you're needed, as always. Great. Okay, well, thank you very much, Ryan. Normally we start with the approval of minutes, but now we can do so. So do I have a motion to approve the minutes?
Second.
Made by Mr. Bonfils, seconded by Mr. Sultan. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Online?
Aye.
Aye.
All right, thank you. And so that motion carries. And we've got Mr. Moody, Mr. Buffington, excuse me, Mr. Moody, Mr. Buffington, and Mr. Yudd absent. All right, thank you. Do we have any public comment, Jewel?
We do not.
All right, thank you. Adoption of the agenda. We have a motion for that. Made by Mr. Bonfils, seconded by Mr. Vega. All those in favor say aye.
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 Thank you. That carries 5-3-0 with Mr. Moody, Buffington, Yudd absent. Okay, thank you. Mr. Kelly, you're up with the Joint Audit Finance Committee.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. We had a nice meeting, lengthy meeting, a full meeting on May 27th. The main topic was the presentation of the 2025 audit. But first item that we addressed was an update to the statement of policy for disposition of real property. Not much to say here. We basically, it was staff initiated to give staff a little more flexibility, the disposition of property. Bottom line is often the case with these kinds of amendments and so forth. We're going to sync up our policy pretty much with the way the state policy reads, so that we're following that to the letter. Basically what it says that Loudoun Water may sell, lease, or as lessor, transfer, or dispose of any or all or any part of property, real, personal, or mixed, or interest therein, acquired by it. And as you know, in the past, a couple of times when the authority has been approached by outside parties for sale of property and so forth, it has come before the board, and that will not change. But this gives the staff a little more flexibility to take minor issues and address them without having to come to the full board. So that was cleared. And then on to the audit. You're like the weatherman in San Diego. If you liked yesterday, you love today. If you like last year's audit, you'll love 2025 audit. Very clean audit, and once again, staff is to be commended for their great work and preparation and working with our auditors through the audit. The auditors were very complimentary of our staff, as they always are. Interesting as is in the past, any issues that are I say uncovered are really already addressed by staff and brought to the attention of the auditors. So there's no surprises typically in these audits. Jennifer Files, the lead auditor, stated the audit was very clean, successful process, and YHB issued an unmodified opinion for 2025 results. The only issue that really, I don't think it rises to an issue, the only concern or thing that they was seen, again, this was identified by staff, was during the Ohana transition, there was some leftover access protocols that needed to be cleaned up and closed. That was taken care of before the auditors came in. So again, no issues there. And lastly, as we've done the last few years, the special audit for receipt of federal funds and grants and so forth was also completed, and that was submitted to the Office of Management and Budget. And that's, again, no issues with that as well. And we'll discuss the annual comprehensive financial report a little later in this meeting so that you all get a chance to vote on that, so we can issue that. That's my report right now, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Mr. Kelly. That was a great summary. And that reminds me, Council, when we had talked about the state code provisions with, disposition of property and all this, do we reference in our policies that, and I say this because state code changes all the time. They're always tinkering with stuff down there in Richmond. And then all of a sudden your policy is out of sync with whatever the latest piece of legislation is. Do we reference that, or are we just not able to do that? I don't remember how we resolve that.
Yeah, I think we do. I'll double check. But this change is intended to do exactly that, to comply with state code and eliminate what we have our self-imposed additional burdens. So as the code changes, you shouldn't have to update your policy because we want to mirror that. So if that's your question, the policy should evolve with the code to the extent the code evolves. And to be clear, what we're doing is we're removing the self-imposed obligation to do an annual or periodic, survey inventory of all your assets and a declaration of surplus property or not. None of that's in the code. It's self-imposed. Eliminating the obligation to appraise property. Some of them have de minimis value, and that's just an extra expense. And eliminating the obligation to do RFP for every disposition of property. You guys can still, the staff or the board, decide to do that depending on the transaction, but it streamlines your policy to match the code, which gives you unfettered authority in these regards. But we take your point, and the goal with all of these is to allow your policy to evolve with changes in the code, so you don't have to do this yearly.
So that we just say we have whatever rights and authorities granted to us by the state code, section such and such, and that's just.
Correct. You don't actually even need it because you do have those rights, but to the
Okay.
we're electing to put that reference in the policy and procedure.
The statement of policy document itself, the introductory sections really bring in and incorporate the Water and Waste Authorities Act and also speak to our articles of incorporation, which also state our powers under those code sections there. So, but we can go back and double check. To be certain.
Oh, that's great. Thank you. Yes, sir. Mr. Vega.
How frequently are we approached for acquisition of property by external parties? Is this an annual thing, every 5 years? Daily?
I would say annually. I mean, we will frequently receive letters in the mail, especially about our Broad Run property wanting to be solar farms. So those, I mean, if you count those, then frequently, but I would say annually, probably recently. In the past, it's been more infrequent, but I think as land becomes scarcer and scarcer, they look at vacant land, and we have some of that. So it's been a little more frequently.
Or some of those just people just looking for land.
Yes.
They see the part on Belmont Ridge and say, well, you're not using it. Gee, we could put more townhouses.
Mhm.
We're not selling it.
All right, Mr. Sultan, CIP Committee.
Yes, sir. The first item is a design services task order. After analyzing the central water system, aging pipes, staff has decided that what's that?
Apologies, my phone rang.
Oh, is that what it was? I thought I was hearing double. And the staff has decided that the countryside neighborhood water mains need replacement due to extensive corrosion and a higher concentration of breaks. This design task order is for the consultant to provide design phase engineering services. The committee recommended that the Board of Water task order to AMT Engineering for $294,900 with an approximate 5% contingency for a total authorized budget of $309,600 to be included on the consent agenda. The next item was a construction contract dealing with the reclaimed waterline relocation in Loudoun County Parkway. As most of us know, Dominion Energy is constructing a high voltage transmission main, which impacts the existing water main. Dominion Energy is reimbursing Loudoun for the relocation of the line. Given time constraints and existing contract work in the area, staff determined that contracting with the Broad Run site work contractor, William Hazel, was the way to go. The committee recommended the board approve award of a construction contract for $1,942,100 with an approximate 10% contingency for a total authorized budget of $2,136,300 to be included on the consent agenda. The next item was award of a construction central system valve and valve vault replacement. Water valves in the Sterling area are aging and in poor condition and need to be replaced. The project scope includes removal of 31 waterline valves and installation of 38 valves plus assorted system appurtenances. I think I spelled appurtenances wrong. The committee recommended that the board approve award of a construction contract to Muller Incorporated for $1,890,000 with an approximate 10% contingency for a total authorized budget of $2,080,000 to be included on the consent agenda. The next item we looked at was the combined capital construction quarterly report. And as usual, I'm getting boring, but the guys and gals did a great job, both from design and construction. They continue to do that. The last thing was the capital spending summary report for March and April. Spending through March and April was 68% and 67% of forecast. And that is my report.
Thank you, Mr. Sultan. Okay, moving on to the consent agenda. Do I have a motion to approve the consent agenda? Motion is made by Mr. Bonfils. Do I have a second? Mr. Sultan seconded it. All those in favor say aye.
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 All right.
Aye.
Thank you. That motion will pass 603 with Mr. Buffington, Moody, and Yudd absent. Right. Action agenda. We only have one item on the action agenda today, and that is the ACFR, our annual comprehensive financial report by Sally Deller. Did I pronounce that right?
Yes, sir.
Deller. All right. Thank you.
Yes, good afternoon. I'm pleased to be here to present the final comprehensive financial report. It's the same as you saw in the joint committee. However, all the pictures have been finalized. So the theme of this year's ACFR is the Milestone Reservoir. Our investment in Milestone Reservoir strengthens the reliability, resilience, and flexibility of our water system. So there are the bullets there, and many thanks to Sue Crosby and her team for putting the ACFR together, and an additional shout out to Donna Kovalyak and the accounting staff for all their help with the audit this year. We have the sections of the ACFR. It starts with the introductory section, which is going to be our letter from the auditors, certificate of achievement, the organization chart. Moving on to the bulk of the financial section, which the notes to the financial statements are also an important part of that. We have our required supplementary information. And then wrapping it up with a statistical section, which gives our trends and how the region is doing. We'll go over the financial highlights quickly. Assets exceeded liabilities by 2.2 billion. This is also referred to as net position. The authority's net position increased by 108 million, or 5% between fiscal years 25 and 24. And the significant portion of this 79% is the net investment in capital assets. Moving on to our operating revenues. Operating revenues decreased approximately 27 million, or 15% when compared with prior year. And that's due to compensation from the easement agreement in prior year that was not repeated in 2025. Operating expenses increased 5.9 million, or 7.3%. This is attributed to increases in contractual services to purchase wholesale water and wastewater. Total operating expenses went from 80 million to 86 million. Depreciation and amortization increased from 70.2 million to 75.2 million. And then non-operating expense representing interest expense increased from 6.7 million to 7.1 million. We also had the transfer of assets between government showing there. Non-operating revenue increased overall by 6.7 million and an increase in investment income of 5.1 million, plus the portion of availability charges that was allocated to current customers. Some other highlights are that our equivalent residential connections came in at 4,907. We had 611 new accounts for a total of 88,444. 19.2 million was paid on our revenue bonds, and we have 166 million outstanding. Investment portfolio was 445.9 million with an average yield of 3.68. And I did want to add that the CIP spend came in at 132 million. One of the board members had asked about that, which was 82% of our revised forecast. So the next steps, if it's approved, we will submit to the GFOA's Certificate of Achievement, and that picture there are all of our certificates from prior years. We'll submit for compliance to the banks and our loan holders and the Auditor of Public Accounts, and we'll also file the single audit at the Federal Audit Clearinghouse. Are there any questions?
Any questions online?
No, just another,
Good.
like Sean said, another great audit and another great annual report. So thank you, everybody. I know it's a lot of work.
Yeah, thanks, everybody.
Yes, thank you, Sally, and thank you everyone who participated in that. Great job. All right. Well, we need to approve the ACFR.
I move the board approve the 2025 annual comprehensive financial report as presented and authorize report for distribution.
Thank you. The motion is made by Mr. Kelly, who would like to second. Seconded by Mr. Bonfils. All those in favor say aye.
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 Motion carries 603 with Mr. Buffington, Moody, and Yudd absent. There is no new business, no informational items, so we move to monthly reports. First up, Rick and Sam. Oh, yes, we talked about that. You guys have already seen this, and I looked at it, so we do not have to go into this report. It looked great, so we will skip that. Thank you. Finance Summary Monthly Report, Sally Deller.
Yes, again, this was presented at the Joint Finance Committee, so it's April results. Are there any questions? We are doing what we said we would do. We were a little behind in availability fees, but we have caught up now that it's May. Any other questions?
All right. Thank you, Sally. Water Resources Management Monthly Report, Jessica Edwards Brandt and Kinsey Downs.
Hi, I'm going to,
So,
Mark, Mark wants
Yeah.
to say a few.
Good afternoon, board. And yes, you'll hear from Jessica and Kinsey, but I wanted to just provide a little regional update first. And several of you may have seen this in the news over the last week or so, but the Drought Coordination Committee in the region did declare a drought watch. And just to provide a little bit, around that, there's been a lot of conversation. The recent rains have been very helpful. But going into it, we're sort of in about year 3 here, where you've heard this before. We've really been at a precipitation deficit, and just we're not where we, as a region, we want to be. And so the idea of putting a drought watch up this early is just to start to build in kind of the habits. What it includes at this stage is a lot of messaging, a lot of encouragement for the utilities and jurisdictions for messaging, which you've been seeing, just for people to be, use wise water habits and practices. We had a recent operations committee, I guess it was last week, the utilities, and lots of conversation around it. The staff at ICPRB, who really does the extensive modeling, is looking at this. They continue to feel pretty optimistic, even this year, and what they're seeing. I think we've shared before, the regional reservoirs are in a really good position. They're full. We really, even in the last couple of years, haven't had to use the water supply portions of those. There have been releases, water quality, and we benefit as supply from that. But so, we're continuing to really watch as a region, but the drought watch is out there, and everybody's just trying to stay ahead of this and continue to remind people, kind of the situation we're in. So with that, I'll pass it back over to Jessica.
Okay, thank you, Mark. The central system summary for the Potomac River Basin is we are on a watch under the, as Mark mentioned, basin precipitation, and then also the regional drought status. This is the graph of how the Potomac River is looking. We did proactively shut down the Potomac River pump station during the rain event that happened at the end of May, just to kind of help us out with a little bit of solids handling process. So no issues there. That's a normal procedure for us. Again, because of the rain at the end of May, this chart looks good, but don't get used to it. It'll probably look a little different next month. And this is the deficit that we're seeing in the basin precipitation. And then, as Mark mentioned, we are the region did decide to call a drought watch starting on June 3rd. Goose Creek is looking good, and Beaver Dam also full. And that's it. If you have any questions, happy to take them.
Questions for Jessica? Thank you, Jessica.
Hey, good afternoon, board. Thank you very much. I'm going to, Mark and Jessica did a fantastic job of capturing kind of the current climate, as well as some of our kind of watch groups and where they're positioning ourselves. So I'm just going to jump forward to our overall groundwater status for our communal systems. We are normal for all systems except for Raspberry and Selma, and that is watch. That continues to be under watch, mainly for the water table just gradually increasing and not being where it was a couple of years ago. Also tied to long-term drought. Happy to address any questions or go to a certain slide if needed.
Questions on the drought watch? Thank you, Kinsey. Water and sewer agreements, Mr. Wee-Tran.
Afternoon, board. There's only one item to note, or we had a couple of developer agreements that had reimbursements on it on the top of page 3. And those agreements are really the only ones that I'd like to point out to the board. Are there any other questions I can answer?
I do have a question. When was the last time we did a 24-inch gravity sewer main in the county? They're not that common.
No, it's not. No, it's not.
So it's a big benefit to at least the watershed.
Thank you, Right, there's no closed meeting. As we look at all these big numbers, millions, billions, trillions, the Wall Street Journal had an interesting little article, and they said, nobody understands any of these numbers. And they said, we're going to put it in terms you can try to understand. They said, okay, a million is pennies stacked a mile high into the clouds. And then they said, if you stacked pennies from New York to Florida, that's a billion. A trillion is to the moon and back twice. Pennies. That's a trillion. So a million, a billion, a trillion. We people toss all these numbers out. We got 600 something million coming up for this broad run stuff. It's like, I don't know, these are big numbers. And it was interesting that they were trying to help people wrap their minds around just by pennies. It's a lot of pennies.
Problem is they don't have pennies anymore.
Well, that's, I know, we'll be the dinosaurs who are going, back when I was there, we had pennies. We had pennies in America. That's right. Well, good. Well, great meeting, everyone. Happy Father's Day. Happy 4th of July, 250th anniversary. For those that brave the traffic to go down to DC and watch the fireworks, good for you. I will be staying home. So we'll see everyone back July 9th for our next board meeting.
July 9th. Thank you.
Thank you, Jewel.
Motion to adjourn.
Thank you.
I'll second.
All right, the motion to adjourn is made by Mr. Sultan, seconded by Mr. Bonfils. Again, I'm a rookie, so I forget this stuff. Thank you for keeping me honest. All right, all in favor, say aye.
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 All right, we are adjourned. Thank you, everyone.
The United States.
Thank you.